my brand of knitted bags, La Accessory. In this video lesson, I'm going to teach you how to make such a cool, stylish bag. It's a crossbody bag with a leather flap and wooden sides. On the long shoulder strap, I'll show you how to make such a base, how to make this pattern made of 3mm cord. It's a polyester cord, rather thin, but the pattern is so thick so that the bag will keep its shape. If you use, for example, cord which is 5mm flat cord, then it's going to be much thicker. In this masterclass, I'll tell you everything step by step. So now let's talk about the size of the bag. So the width, together with wooden sides, if we put it flat like this, it's approximately 24 centimeters, 24 and a half. And the height, the bottom is, so the side is 10 centimeters, so the bottom will be approximately 11 and a half centimeters. The height of the bag together with the flap till the bottom, 18 centimeters. And now I'll tell you how it looks inside. But we are going to sew in the lining, and I'll show you an interesting way to sew in the lining for this model with wooden sides. I haven't sewn the lining yet, as you see, but I will show you how to do this. I just wanted to show you that on the sides here we're going to make such stripes, which we'll use for sewing the lining into the bag. So first we make a base, then additionally we make these stripes on the sides, and then we will use it for sewing the lining into this bag. Sewing the lining to the wooden sides, that is. That's why we need it. I'll show you everything step by step in our master class. To make this bag, we will need the following materials. 2 skeins of 105 meters of polyester cord, 3mm. I'll show you the texture of my cord. Here it is. It has such a really cool texture. It's really soft and easy to work with. Then wooden sides. The width of wooden side is 10 centimeters. Now let's measure the height. Approximately 17 centimeters. Yeah, 17 to 18 centimeters will be, with openings for knitting it into the base. And then such a trapeze flap, it can be any pattern, snake pattern or crocodile, whatever. 22 centimeters. It is 21 centimeter. Here it is leather and a lining. And leather shoulder strap in matching color. Here I have a double strap with lobster clasps. A bag lock. Bag lock should be rectangular so that it suits the bag. Here, as you see, I have used such an oblong one. Now I will try to use this one. I'll try it on, I'm not sure. When the bag is ready, then I'll see which bag lock will suit this bag. So I think that it will be something like this, but we'll see. Also, I'll need some fabric for lining, but I don't have it now. I'll have to buy it and show you. It can be linen, viscose, satin, it can be silk, poplin silk, anything that you can use for lining, for bag lining. This is going to be our last stage in this masterclass. So you will need to buy some fabric for lining. So now let's talk about the instruments. to make such a bag, you will need not only cord, but also crocheting hook, of course. I'll tell you about them a little bit later. But you will also need measuring tape, knitting markers, sewing pins, some sewing needle and thread in matching color, but you don't have to make it absolutely perfect. Something close to the color because we're going to sew it invisible, and of course a pair of scissors. Now let's talk about the crocheting hooks. I'm going to use number 4 millimeters, but as you may have a different gauge and you may work thicker or thinner, maybe it will be easier for you to work 4.5 millimeters, or maybe it will be easier for you to use 3.5. So it depends how tight you work. We'll have to work this back rather tight, but I, for example, do not tighten my stitches, so my gauge is kind of middle. And also I know those handmakers who crochet and work much tighter, and they will get a smaller size of a bag than I. So I tell you at once that it depends on your gauge. If you work tight, you can take a bigger crocheting hook. Now we will make a sample so that you can check whether your gauge is more or less like mine or it is different. Because here it is important for us to get a certain size, because we have the width of the flap and we have the size of a wooden side. So here you have to get a certain size. That's why it is important. In this masterclass, I'll tell you how to count the number of stitches you need to cast on for your gauge, and then we'll start the base. Also, let's have a look at the base. The width of the base on its own of the pattern is from this edge till this edge, it is 22 centimeters. And then you will make a trimming, which we do not count because that trimming will go under the wooden frame, so we kind of do not count it. It is hidden there behind the frame. So here the most important thing is to get 22 centimeters here. It can be slightly different, maybe a half centimeter. It is okay. Then you'll just have to make it a little bit more protruding here. So now we will make a sample of our pattern. I'll show you how to make this pattern on light color because it's easier to show you. This base for the bag black, I used one method. When I started the second bag, I saw that this pattern may go into diagonal, may go askew, so I decided to work tighter. That's why I understand that some of you might get this tilt if you work softer. That's why the next half of an hour of this masterclass, I'll show you 3 ways to make this pattern, and you can choose one. The third one will be perfect to make it absolutely straight, not in diagonal, not tilting, just right. So let's get started. We'll start with a sample. I recommend you to make the sample as well, so that you can count the number of stitches you need according to your gauge. I'll show you a light color of the cord, and the back I'm going to make in blue, dark blue color. I'll just show you with light color because it is easier for you to see on the camera than on some dark or black color, but it is just the same cord, absolutely the same cord. So I'll show for those of you who have just started crocheting, so I explain as for beginners. We start with a 0 stitch, which we do not count. It's a 0 stitch. The short end goes on top of the long one, like this, cross it, hold it with your fingers, and hold it this way. Insert the hook into the loop. I'm going to use 4 millimeters crocheting hook, grab the working thread like this, and tighten the knot. tighten it so that it's an ordinary loop. So that's your 0 stitch. And now we're going to cast on 11 chains, 10 chains and 1 lifting chain, so 11 in total. Do not cast on too tight. Here you don't make it like this, you tighten it. Not too much, but still. So why do we do this? Because when we make the pattern, it's going to widen our work. So these stitches have to be slightly wider, slightly looser, as we are going to work 2 pieces, but about this I'll tell you later. And they are going to start from this loop. We have it to have some space to be able to stretch. So when you cast on in this model, you have to make it neither too tight nor too loose, so somewhere in the middle. You train here while you are making the sample. So cast on 11 chains, insert the hook, and then again insert the hook and through the loop on the hook. 1, 2, 3, 4. No, not that big, tighten slightly. And 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Count the loops. 1. We don't count the knot, yeah, by the way, I haven't said it. We do not count this knot, we start counting these braids. Chains of the braid, yeah, like V shapes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And we do not count the loop on the hook as well. So, start the first row. We turn our work this way, like we turn it away. Here we have such back half loops, you see? And into these back half loops we are going to work. So now we are going to make single crochets into this back half loops, those horizontal back half loops. Here is the first one, it's right under my working thread. We skip it, so we skip it, and insert the hook into the second. You see, here we have turned it away, and we start with the second half loop, like this. And then single crochets, we work rather tight, but again it depends on your gauge. I just recommend you to work it slightly tighter. When I was working black bag, I had 1 gauge. Now I'm trying to work tighter to make a thicker side, yeah, to make it not so soft. Now the second half loop here, the second half loop, back half loop. If you can see where it is, especially if you are a beginner, you just turn your braid and you'll see it on the back side. Don't make this loop too long. This one is tighter. And so if you do not see where this back half loop is, turn it back to the braid and then turn it back to the half loops. You will see, yeah, where the half loop is, where the braid is. You'll be able to see them clearly. Then insert the hook into the next half loop. Be careful, do not skip the half loops. Because, again, I say this for the beginners. Sometimes it's difficult for you to see the loops because you are not used to it. You are not used to seeing these half loops. So just check. And I'll tell you how to check whether you have made everything right. And so now you make 10 single crochets. As you remember, we cast on 11 chains, 1 lifting chain including. So now we make 10 single crochets. We'll make a lifting chain at the beginning of each row. Now when you have reached the last half loop, Here it is, you see the last braid and then the knot, which we do not count, and the half loop, the last half loop. Here it is. And now you grab the working thread and make a single crochet. Then you check that you have 10 single crochets. So we count the braids here on top. You see, first one is this one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, that was 7, 8, 9, 10. Again, the loop that we have here, which one is on the hook, we do not count. We make a lifting chain. We make it always when we start a new row. Turn our work. And now we go on working single crochets into both half loops. So you need to find 2 half loops. Here you have first 2 stitches. Yeah, that is a chain and that is the first stitch. So between them you have such an opening, and here on top you see 2 half loops on top. These are 2 half loops that you are going to work all the row into. So you insert the hook under those 2 upper half loops, grab the working thread, make this loop not too long, work rather tightly, and then 2 together, that is a single crochet. Again, insert the hook into the next one, insert the hook, grab the working thread, pull it, and now 2 together, the second single crochet, tighten it slightly, the next one, here it should be tight, but not over tight, yeah, so you do not tighten it too much so that you don't have openings between the stitches. And again, insert the hook into the next one, here, that's it, the next one, and the next one, next one. Like this, go on work until the end of the row. And so you see you have 1 stitch left. Here it goes a little bit diagonal. That's just from first to the second row. It's going to be diagonal. So insert the hook here, don't skip it. Pay attention. And grab the working thread. Make a stitch. Here you can make this loop slightly longer because it will compensate the shorter end of the row. And a lifting chain. Check, make sure that you have 10 single crochets in this row. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's it, that's right. Don't count the loop on the hook. Turn your work, make a lifting chain, and again make 10 single crochets, likewise under 2 half loops, both upper half loops, like this. And also you make 10 single crochets, likewise. So now when you have reached the last stitch of the previous row, insert the hook under both half loops and make a stitch. check. Make sure that you have made the right number of stitches. So I count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. This one we do not count, the one on the hook we do not count, and we make a lifting chain and turn our work. So now we will start our pattern, so be attentive. I'll take the hook out for the time being and explain. So this is the first stitch, and this is the first stitch which we would have used if we were making single crochets. But here under it you have one opening right under it. Yeah, it is the first stitch under it, and the second stitch under it is here. We are going to use all three, 1, 2, and this third one. This one are the openings where we are going to use for one stitch. They are all one under the other, and so it is here. We are going to use them all three for each next stitch. So we find the opening in this row, then in previous one, and in the previous one, and so we go. So we need to find the first opening under this stitch. Here it is. And so we insert the hook. Grab the working thread, make a loop, but stop, don't make a single crochet. Insert the hook into the opening under it in the previous row. Here and here, be attentive, this loop which you have just made, you pull it through, turn the hook like this, and pull it through the previous one. This one remains on the hook. Pull it slightly longer and insert the hook in the opening in the lower row, the row that is lower than the previous one. Grab the working thread and likewise pull it through the loop, through this one. I wanted to zoom it in to show you this one, so that now you have 2 loops on the hook. Then we make it longer so that it is at the same height. We make it as long as 3 rows and then make a yarn over and work these two together. Make a single crochet. You see, the smaller you'll make this loop, the tighter your work will be. So now this is a sample, and with train on the sample you have to make 2, 4, 5 rows of the sample till you see how you prefer to work, tight or loose. It's up to you. And so next, after we have made this first stitch, we find the next opening. Sometimes it may happen that previous one will be like peeping out, but you don't count it. It's already worked into, you don't count it. It is covered with a stitch. So you need to find the next stitch and insert the hook in the next opening. Likewise, insert it under this row here. Grab the working thread and insert the hook under the row lower than that one. All these openings are one under the other. It's really easy, you can't miss it. Here you see these openings, you can clearly see them. And you pull it turn the hook like this and pull it through the loop. Then you insert the hook again into the stitch right under it, right into the first one here, under the first row, this cast on row. You see, you can check clearly. Here you see that the second stitch is under the second, the third stitch is under the third, and so on. Grab the working thread and make a stitch, a loop that is. Now you pull it longer so that it is at the same level as the one on the hook, and grab the working thread and pull it through. Now the third, likewise, you find the next stitch, here it is, but then you insert the hook under that row, under the previous row, into its base. Then grab the working thread, pull it to the right side. Then go one row lower. And remember that all these openings are more or less one under the other. So you don't have to go somewhere into diagonal. They are right one under the other. Insert it here, make one more loop, and turn the hook and pull it through the loop on the hook. Don't make this one long, we don't need it. And then insert the hook into the last one, the third one, and pull it through the previous loop here. Now pull this loop longer and work these two as a single crochet together. You see, now we have made 3 stitches with such a doubled long single crochets, and so like this you make 10. Now make all the 10. I'll make one more on camera, and then you can work on your own, and I'll show you how to make the last one, the second row, and so on. So find the 4th stitch, here it is, and 4th there. And so you see this row of openings, one right under the other. Insert the hook under the previous row first, grab the working thread, then into the next one, grab the working thread, turn your hook and pull it through the loop here. Now into the 3rd opening under that one, grab the working thread and turn the hook, pull it through the loop. Now pull this loop so that it's long enough. And make sure that the height of the stitches is the same. If it's different, then come back and remake it. So like this, go on moving till the end and make 10 stitches. So first row is almost ready. It looks like this on the back and like this on the right side. Now we have a last stitch here. Now I'll show you how we make it. Here we have to insert the hook into the opening. Likewise, just they will be at the edge. Here, under this row, then the row under it, and one more under it. So this one is the first, then one under it, here, and here pull it through the loop, and the third one right under it, under the last stitch here. And now you can pull it through this, then make it longer, and finally finally make single crochet. So here is the first row of our long doubled single crochets. Let's count. Here it's really easy because you can count these long stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's right. And after we have made a lifting chain, we turn our work, and now we're working 10 single crochets like ordinary single crochets into 2 upper half loops. Here into both half loops on the previous row, so just like we ordinary work single crochets. Insert the hook and work 2 together. So now we are making a backward row. We'll have to make 3 rows like this, as we did first 3 rows at the beginning. That's a preparation for the pattern. Yeah, make a single crochet into each stitch. I'll work this row together with you, then the second and the third you'll be able to work on your own. Last stitch, make a single crochet, check, make sure that you have 10 single crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Then make a lifting chain, turn our work and make 10 single crochets in this row as well. So your pattern is going to be tilted like this because it widens only when you make this textured row. When you're working single crochet rows, it might be slightly narrower. So here you go on working with single crochets, make lifting chain and the third row of single crochets. And I have almost finished this row. Last stitch, a lifting chain, turn your work, and the third row also into the upper half loops. And I finished the third row, last stitch. Also check, make sure that you have 10 stitches. A lifting chain, turn your work. So this row I will show you how I worked with black cord, and the next row I'll show you one more option. So here you have several ways of working this pattern. The ways of working this pattern are almost the same, so the pattern is going to be the same anyway, but the edge stitches, first and the last, are slightly different. So I saw that the pattern in my first option was slightly tilted. So when you work a big base, it will be slightly tilted because the stitches will go into diagonal. To prevent this, to avoid this, I have found one more method, but I'm going to show you both. So now I'll show you the first, a simpler one, but which might get a little bit into diagonal. Again, we see 3 rows of single crochets with which we're going to work. Each 3 opening will make up 1 stitch. So find the first. It's not the lifting chain, yeah, be careful, it's not the lifting chain, it's not the one here. The first stitch of the row is this one. So we need to find the opening under the first row, first stitch of this row, make a loop into it, here, then find an opening right under it, here, under the previous row. turn the hook, pull it through the loop. And now here you will insert the hook on the right here from the first long doubled stitch. You see, here it is on the right. And make a stitch. Likewise, pull it full height and make a single crochet. So here is all the same. Now we find the second stitch here, insert the hook into the previous row, make one loop, insert the hook into the row under it, make one more loop. Here it's easier to see because here you have already worked stitches. It is here and through the loop before it. And here also you see it's easier to find the opening one before it, row before it. Between our long stitches, yeah, you can check, make sure it is between those stitches. Make a loop, pull it longer and make a stitch. And so second, third, and so on rows will be easier to work because you'll already be able to see where to insert the hook. I'll make several more stitches together and then you can go on working on your own. So find the third stitch, insert the hook under this row, then opening under it, through the loop, the opening under it, which is between the two long stitches, here, like this. And so all the next stitches till the end, we work the same way. Then I'll show you how to make the last stitch because it's going to be slightly different. So the second row is almost ready. Now the last stitch. Here we insert the hook under the first row, make a loop, then insert it into the previous and through the loop. If we insert it here, as we would have, then we'll get a big hole. You see, exactly this place, the last row, will have such a big opening. That's why I recommend you to insert it into some of the half loops, any half loop here, for example, you can find it, so that you can cover that opening, cover that hole, like this, through the loop, pull it longer and make a single crochet. And so check again that you have made 10 stitches. If you work this way, so each next stitch will be slightly shifted and go to the right side. Maybe you won't have such a diagonal line, maybe you will. That's why I'm going to show you two more options for those of you who will have it slightly slanted. So now we work 3 rows of single crochet anyway, it's always the same. So now make 3 rows of single crochets and then I'll show you the second method. Now I have made 3 rows of single crochets, made a lifting chain, turn our work now, and to start the pattern, it will be almost the same. You find the first stitch, insert the hook into the opening under the row, pull the loop, insert it into the opening under it, pull this loop through the loop on the hook. But the difference in this option is that the first stitch will be made not here, not on the right as we did in the previous row, but into the middle of this. Yeah, pay attention, into the middle of this row, of the stitch, that is here, and behind it also comes out between these 3 half loops into the middle. and through the loop, and all the rest is the same. So the first stitch is ready. All the rest we can work as we did in the previous row, so without changing anything, just insert the hook into 3 openings, one under the other. A second one, pull the loop through, and the third one, but not in the middle like ordinary as we did before. This method will allow you to make it slightly less slanted, but still the diagonal was there. That's why I have found a third option. And so like this, we go on working the same way, repeating all the same, making these doubled long single crochets. Just make sure that these long stitches are the same size. Like this. And so go on working till the end. At the end, we will work last stitch together. So we have only one stitch to make. Here we work everything the same, level before it, through the loop. And now, as you remember, we insert the hook also in the middle of this stitch, grabbing some half loop from the wrong side, like somewhere here, because you need to avoid the hole, you see? And then through the loop, make it longer, the same size, and a stitch. So what do we have here? Here we see 1, 2, 3, and here you see the stitches are one above the other. You can try working the first way and you will see whether it started shifting. You have to make 5 to 6 rows to see whether it will go into diagonal. And choose the way of knitting better for you. Now I'll show you how to count the number of stitches that you need to cast on for your bag. And at once I want to say that there is one more way of working to avoid your piece going into diagonal. If you work all these openings, all the stitches as the first one and as the last one, so work them all into the middle. I just tried it on a big piece, and then the piece starts going into diagonal to the other side. So here it goes diagonal to the right, and in the middle it goes diagonal to the left. So it's not an option as well. So I have found one more method and I'll tell you about it. So let's count the width of the sample. I have 8.5, almost, no, not 9, but 8.5 centimeters. You will need a piece of paper, something to write it down. You need to write it down. So you cast on 10 chains, and that is going to be 8.5 centimeters. And X stitches is we need to get 22 centimeters. If the width is 21.5, it's also okay. If it is 21, it's also okay. So, but we need 22. So then X is, according to the rule, we 22 multiply by 10 and divide it by 8.5. So it is 220 divided by 8.5. And I have calculated it is 25.88. I will round it up to 26 stitches. So I need to cast on 26 stitches, 26 chains plus one for lifting chain. So you might have different number. You have to make your own sample, you have to take your own measurement, and then according to it you will calculate. By the way, for the blue bag I need to make 26 chains. For the blue one I will cast on 26 plus 1 for lifting chain, and you cast on the number of stitches you need for your gauge. And we make the base of the bag. I'll start with you, then you can continue on your own because pattern is going to be the same, and you work the number of stitches that you need for your size, and then we will continue. So this is my sample. I have worked it a little bit bigger, 15 stitches plus a lifting chain. So I have made 1, 2, 3, 4, 8 rows. 8 rows to see whether the method I have chosen works. And you see that this really works because it doesn't go into diagonal, it's not slanted. Anyhow, you see the piece is even on both sides. So in general, you see it's not tilted neither to the right nor to the left. So this method works. So which was the method? First, I have worked as I have shown you. The second, I have worked into the middle. You see, each stitch goes into the middle of the previous. I have already showed. The third one, I worked not into the middle, but between the ordinary pattern, as I have shown you the first option on the right. So I inserted the hook on the right of the stitch in previous. The next one I've worked then again into the middle, and so I alternated working in the middle and on the right from the stitch. You see, when you alternate, it kind of neutralizes. One goes to the right, one goes to the left, and when you combine this method, your piece is absolutely straight. It is not tilted neither to the right nor to the left. Now I will work together with you several rows to show you what I mean by saying how I insert the hook. I recommend you to make a sample, especially for the beginners, for those who just start working, because if you get this tilt, it will give you a problem when you will be sewing it to the sides. I can compensate it somehow. I already have some experience, but if you're a beginner, it's better for you to make it straight right from the beginning, then you won't have any trouble in making it nice and neat when you will be sewing it to the sides, to the wooden sides. So I recommend you to work on the sample, to work out this method and use it. So the 9th row, or the first row, yeah, if you started from the beginning, you cast on and then work 3 rows of single crochets, and then we will work the pattern in one way and then the second. And after this you can start working the knitted base. So I have made 3 rows of single crochets, preparative rows. Now according to the pattern, the previous one I worked in the middle, so this row I will work like I have shown you. We insert the hook on the right from the stitch. So work our base pattern, inserting the hook on the right from the stitch of the previous row. On the right, you see here, not into the middle, but on the right. Like this. And so like this, we work all the stitches of the pattern with our base pattern. And the last one we work the same. We'll meet at the end and start a new row. So I have worked one row, the last one I also make it like this, insert it on the right, and then just remember that you have to cover this hole, so you have to grab some half loop somewhere from behind. For example, I see I can insert it into this half loop, this one, to cover this big hole. So I attach it into this one and make this last stitch. And then lifting chain. Pay attention that the height of the stitches is all the same. And they have the same gauge, they have the same size. They are not taller and shorter, they are not bigger and smaller, tighter or looser. They are all the same, because if you have them different, it will show up in the base. It will be visible at once. And so like this, again we make 3 preparative single crochet rows. And then I'll show you again one more row of the pattern, and then you can start working the base. I have made 3 preparative rows. And so now we make the next row of doubled long stitch. This row I'm going to work into the middle of the previous stitch. So insert it 1, 2, and here I have to insert it right into the middle, you see, into the middle between 2 half loops of the stitch of the previous row. Here as well it comes out between 2 half loops, right into the middle. And so, like this, making all the stitches into the middle, we go on working all the stitches of this row. And so move on till the end of this row, then we will work it together, and that's it. And so our pattern is ready, and we can start the base. Last stitch, here I also work into the middle, insert the hook into the previous row, then the one under it. And here again we have to insert it right into the middle of the previous stitch. Here it is. We find the middle and find the half loop that we can work it into. And then finish the stitch here. You see, all the stitches go straight above each other, alternating the rows on the right and in the middle. So I'll show you, zoom out. This is a sample, and you see it is absolutely even and straight, without any tilts. So I recommend you to alternate. One row insert the hook into the middle, and the next row insert the hook on the right. This will compensate this tilt, which we want to avoid. All the next bags I'm going to work with this method for sure. I just had to find it, and before this I have already made several bags before I have found this way how to make it perfect and how to make it immaculate. So now, as you see, it really works. So now you start working your knitted base for the bag, and then we will assemble it and sew in the lining, and so on. You already know how to work this pattern, so this is not going to be difficult for you. And now we can already start working with the base. And we start, as always, by casting on. I make the 0 stitch, insert the hook, and make the 0 stitch. I don't count it. This knot is not a stitch. And remember that these stitches should be rather loose, not tightened. And now we cast on the number of stitches we need. I'm going to cast on 26 plus 1, and you cast on your number. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27. That is already with lifting chain. So count the number of stitches you need plus 1 for lifting chain. Turn your work to the back side. You see the half loops on the back side here. And you are going to work the first row into them. Skip the first, insert the hook into the second. Here, grab the working thread and make a single crochet. Here you already work tight. The second one. You see? Insert and make a single crochet. Likewise, in each next half loop we make a single crochet. If you are a beginner, it's better to use lighter colors of cord, then it will be easier for you to see the stitches, because on dark color it's a little bit more difficult to see them. And so go on working till the end of this row. You will get the number of stitches according to the number of stitches you have cast on, minus 1, which is a lifting chain. Go on working till the end of the row. After you have reached the end, when you have reached the end of the row, work the last 2 here. Here is the last stitch. Here you see it. Last half loop here, without counting the knot. Okay, check whether you have the right number of stitches. Start counting with this one. Start counting with this one. So you'll get the number you need. Make a lifting chain, turn your work. The second row, again, we work single crochets under both half loops, so just ordinary single crochets. Also work tight. Work tight, try to make a gauge the same in all the rows. Go on working till the end of the row like this. If you need some help with a pattern, you can come back to the video with a sample. So go on working till the end of the row. At the end we'll meet. So at the end of the second row, don't forget about the last one. It is here, it is slightly diagonal, so don't forget about it, and make it slightly longer to compensate the height of the loop. Make a lifting chain, turn your work, and now go on working one more row of single crochets. Into both half loops, just work single crochets in each stitch. And the last one, here it is in this row, and the lifting chain. Turn your work. Make sure that you have the number of stitches. So 3 rows already. Now we start working with the pattern. Here in this video I show you the second method, but I recommend you to use the third method I have shown you before, or this one as well. So we insert the hook into the previous row and insert the hook into the one under it. Grab the working thread, turn your hook through the loop, loop goes through the loop, and then you have two loops on the hook. You insert it in the one under it, the third one. Grab it, make a loop, and make it longer, as tall as all the 3 rows. And now make a single crochet. Find the next one. Make sure that this one is covered with a stitch, so we don't use it anymore. We look for the next one, make a stitch here, then 1 row under it, and then this loop goes through the loop, and the third one right under it. Grab the thread and make it longer. Two stitches are ready. Now, likewise, we go on working. Don't forget alternating. Where you insert the hook in 1 row, it is inserted on the right from the stitch. In the second row, it is inserted in the middle. So we will work together 1 more row like this. That is 3 single crochet rows and then 1 pattern doubled long single crochet. Then we will measure, and if the piece is not 22 centimeters, if it is much bigger or smaller, I recommend you to undo it, before you have made too much, you have made too many rows. But if it is okay, then you can continue. So first pattern row is ready. Now we have to make a last stitch here. So we insert the hook under this row, make a loop, then the row under it here, and make a stitch and insert it into the third. You see, the last one I always work by turning my work like this, so you can turn your work as it is easier for you to make the stitches. It's okay. Pull it loop through the loop and then make it long enough and lifting chain. Check the number of stitches you have. I have 26, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26. That's right. So I can continue. Turn my work. And I make now 3 rows of single crochets into both half loops. Both half loops. At the end of each row, we'll make a lifting chain. So don't forget about it, we do this all the time, and then we'll meet when we start working the pattern. So, and like this, you see these rows of single crochets, they tighten our work. You see how it is narrower in this part. And we continue working the pattern row. Insert the hook 1 row below, grab the working thread and 1 opening under it, turn the loop, pull it through the loop and insert it under into the third. This row we're going to work into the middle between 2. Make sure that here it also comes in between 2 loops and grab the working thread, pull it through, tighten and make a single crochet. So here is the first stitch ready. I like this. We go on working. You can use third method, then you will be working all the stitches into the middle of stitches on previous row, or like I'm going to show here, continue into the right between the two stitches. But I recommend you to use the third method. I also wanted to say that when you crochet, you have to show the direction to the left. So you try to pull it to the left because the work is going to be tilted to the right. It tries to tilt to the right and you have to pull it. As you pull the thread, you try to pull the stitch a little bit to the left, like try not to tilt the stitches to the right at least, to make the tilt less. Like this. Yeah, see, I pull it to the left. Kind of resist the stitch which wants to go to the right. Go on working till the end of the row. Here we will work the last stitch likewise, and then we will measure our piece, and I'll tell you how we have to work it, and then how we're going to assemble it. So the second row is almost ready. Now we have only to make the last stitch. Find the first opening, insert the hook, then one row lower, turn the loop, and now I have to insert the hook here, like here, or like this. Here it is slightly twisted, so we'll have to cover the hole and insert the hook, and we find some half loop which will help us to avoid this opening that we have at the end of the previous row. You see? Here. So find any half loop and attach the hook, insert the hook, attach the stitch into it so that you cover the hole. So this edge, as you see, it is going to be, you'll have to make stitches right into the edge. But then we will make the trimming, so when you add the trimming, you will be able to cover this and add a little bit more. So don't be afraid if now you don't like how the edge looks. It is going to be trimmed anyway. When we'll sew it to the wooden base and wooden sides, it won't be visible at all. Now lifting chain and start the third row. Then you'll continue working on your own. Now let's measure the width of this piece. I have 21.5 centimeters, that's good. So up to 22 centimeters, that is okay. Go on working. The length of the piece is 18 or 19 rows. So the height, yeah, we continue working till you have made 18 rows. In the black bag, I made 8 segments like this. Here they are slightly tighter, so I'll think there will be about 9. Yeah, 9. So I'll work and then we'll measure and have a look. So now you have to go on working on your own, 18 to 19 rows in height, and then measure your piece. So I have made the first part of this bag. The last stitch I have made like I have done it before, and pulled the loop completely through and cut it, leaving a long free end. Okay, so now I'll show you how I have done all this all. So the last stitch, let's go through it together. We work it as we usually do. and like this, pulled it through completely. Do not tighten it. Yes, you have tightened it. Better not do this. So, and now we will measure it. Yeah, first of all, we will measure the piece, the height. I have approximately 18 and a half centimeters, slightly smaller than 19. But I have measured the wooden piece. I have put it along this side seams here. I see that it's going to be okay. And also we are going to leave about 1 centimeter on above. I'll show you later, yeah, why we need this. So one more thing that is important. This bag I work a little bit tight. You see, if I compare it with this one, you will be able to notice that here on black one it's softer and bigger. So I worked looser. Here I try to work tighter. Let's even measure. You see, here I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 9, and here I had 8 such stripes. So one stripe is 2.5, and here it is almost 2 centimeters, 2 millimeters, and here it is 2 centimeters and 6 millimeters. You see, the gauge may influence even visually the pattern. It's okay. It's okay to have both slightly bigger gauge or smaller gauge. So, but if you are working tighter, you will see that pattern will look tighter. Now let's start the second part. Here you have finished. You have cut the thread. Now you have to turn it upside down. So we'll now start working here, where we have a cast-on row. I'll undo this knot here. It's the one from the first 0 stitch. If you have done the first 0 stitch like I did, then you can undo it and it won't come off. It won't start fraying. It won't start undoing all the piece. You see, I have undone it and it's just easier to hide it somewhere. I will just pull it through some of the half loops. So this long free end, I will make it shorter. By the way, we don't need such a long one. We will then hide it when we'll be making trimming. And here is the cast-on row, and we turn it to the wrong side. We have turned it upside down so that we have cast-on row on top, and we also have wrong side facing us. And we take a new skein, new cord, and we need now to start working first 3 preparative rows of single crochets, as we did for the first part. I recommend you to leave a long free end, like length is a little bit more than the width of your bag. We will then use it to make this piece a little bit thicker and stronger. So leave it, we'll just work it inside. Now you need to insert the hook into the cast-on row, this one. But before you insert it into the first, you first need to attach the thread. Here you have this free end, which we had from the cast-on row. Here is the first braid. So you have to first attach the thread somewhere. It can be any, somewhere on the side, like let's take this one for example. and we make a chain. And now we can go on working single crochets into the upper braid. So find the first one is slightly twisted. I'll show you a close-up. Yeah, now it's slightly twisted like this. You have to make the first stitch right into it. And so I make a single crochet and at the same time work the long free end in. Then again find the next braid. Here it is. Insert the hook under both half loops and make a single crochet at the same time working it around the stitch. And again the next one, make a single crochet around the free end. And so like this, go on working single crochet. It's really easy here, just one single crochet in each stitch till the end of this row. At the end of the row I'll show you how we finish the row, how to count the stitches. So we have last 2 stitches left, like this. One, two. Let's count. Let's count the stitches. You have the same number as you have made the stitches in each row. So I had 26. Let's count. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 5, 26. Yeah, that's right. I have 26 stitches. Don't count this loop on the hook and the lifting chain. All these free ends we do not hide now. We will hide them at the very end. Do not sew them now, when you will be able that everything is okay, that you won't need to undo it. Maybe you will want to change something. If you have already sewn the free ends, that's going to be a problem. So you hide the free ends only after you have made sure that everything is okay, you are satisfied, and you are going to leave it. Turn our work, and now we go on working one more row of single crochets into upper half loops. 26 single crochets. Likewise as we did, just one single crochet in one stitch. A lifting chain, turn our work, and the last third row of single crochets. Likewise, go on working, control your gauge, and work into upper half loops. And now the pattern row. Make a stitch into the row under it, pull the loop through the loop, and the one below. As you see, we inserted right where the first stitch came from. Here it was the last one, and now it looks like the first one, right? Right into the same opening. Make a stitch, pull the loop, and make a stitch. Remember that you have to pull it to the left to resist tilt to the right. The next one, likewise. I think you have already learned this pattern, so I won't comment it. Turn it, pull it to the left. Yeah, this one we tighten, the loop on the hook we tighten. This will help us not to stretch it too much, not to let it go to the right side. So like this we go on working till the end of this row with our ordinary pattern. And now when you have finished this row, don't forget that you insert it so that you cover the hole. You find some half loop here with which you can insert the hook to avoid a hole. Left in chain, and now you need to take a marker and mark this middle where you have started working in the reverse direction. It will be easier for you to see where one piece, for example front piece, ends and the back piece starts. We will take it off when we'll be making the trimming. So here is the middle of the back. It's where we have started the other side. It's going to be this middle line on the bottom. Yeah, I'll show you. It's going to be this line in the middle of the bottom of the bag. And so we go on working likewise 9 segments or 8 segments, so the number of rows that you need for your height, according to the same principle as I have shown you. And after you have made it, do not cut the thread, because we will use it for trimming all around the piece. I'll show you how to do this. So go on working on your own till you have made a lot, enough stitches for your height. And I finish the last stitch here. As I have said, do not cut the thread. We will continue working with it for the trimming. Make the last stitch, cover this hole. So that's it, our piece is ready. Now we need to make the trimming. I'll show you like this. You see that there is a little teeth to the right with this method I used in the video. So I recommend you to use the third one I have shown you, because the third one is going to be perfect. But even if you still have a little tilt, don't worry, because when you sew it to the wooden sides, we'll be able to make it straight, yeah, like this, so that the tilt won't be visible. Maybe I will just have to tighten it on one side, maybe under the flap it will be slightly higher. I think that about 2 to 3 millimeters. So now we will start making the trimming. I'll show you the principle how we make the trimming, and make sure that you have noticed that these rows are slightly different. So I'll show you how to make the trimming on all the sides. So here I have made a lifting chain where I have finished and turned my work like this. Now I need to make the trimming. We need to make the stitch so that we do not spoil the pattern. So we'll look for some stitches here, some openings behind the pattern. All of these stripes will be worked twice. The third one between. You make 2 stitches into the stripe of a pattern and 1 between. Then 2 stitches into the stripe and 1 stitch between. And so like this you'll continue, so that you have the same number, the even number of stitches on this side and then on that side. So let's get started. I slightly push the pattern and make a stitch somewhere here into the side. Here you have to find the half loop right on the edge where you can insert the hook, make a single crochet, then look for the next one where you can insert the hook closer to the edge and make a single crochet again. You can make them bigger or smaller if you want to make the piece. If you see that you have to compensate something, for example, you can make it shorter or higher and thus regulate the width of the piece. Now we make a stitch between. Have a look where it's easier to insert the hook here. One, now the second one, and then the stitch between. So you do not count the stitches, you just try to make 2 into the stripe of pattern and 1 between, like this. So you go on working and check from time to time how it looks. Then the next one, 2 stitches into this segment. And then pay attention that this part of the pattern may vary because the method you have chosen, I have shown you 3 methods, yeah, how you make the stitch, so it may slightly vary. Then we can insert it like here. Have a look, you can insert right into this stitch, or you can grab the half loop right on the edge. This long back half loop here is also attached. I can't work it without it, so I have to work it around it. And so, and the last one here. So like this, go on working till the next corner here till the middle, that is, yeah, and then here you'll continue on your own. Actually, likewise, but it's the other side. As it is the other piece, it is the other side of the piece. So the side slightly changes, slightly varies, and the way might change. So I'll put this away, but I'll return it as soon as I have made this stitch. The free end I will work inside into the stitches. Here I'll make a stitch that is between, right? The one that is between, and return the marker at once. Then here on this side you see the edge is slightly different, but it will be easier to make a trimming than here, because you won't have this place where you were covering the hole. But here you will also have to be attentive, because here you have to make it tighter. Also you make 2 stitches into the stripe and 1 stitch between the stripes. You find some place where it's easy to insert the hook, like this, and then 1 stitch between the rows. And then again find the next opening, and I work this free end around. These free ends we do not sew, we just work them in, but do not sew them till we have made sure that everything is going to be okay. We are not going to change anything. And so like this, you continue till you have reached the corner. Also, it is important that when you work with polyfier cord, it sometimes starts to fray, so you have to cut it and then slightly burn it with lighter, and yeah, carefully press it to stop it from fraying. And so I'll go on working till the end of this row. Here, right into the corner, I will make a stitch. Maybe make this loop a little looser, because we need to make a transition to the other side. And it's going to look the following way. Here you see the braid, so you do not work the half loop, you work into the braid. You insert the hook into 1 half loop here, into the back, and work it into this half loop like a slip stitch. You see, like a slip stitch. Then you find the next braid and again work it as a slip stitch under this half loop. You see, you will get such a nice braid. And so like this you go on working. Likewise, in each half loop, only 1 half loop, we make a slip stitch. I have almost reached the end. On this free end, we need to fix it, because we have finished, but we haven't fastened it. So we need to hide it somehow on the wrong side. Find some half loop here, like this. Do not tighten it too much. Then we will work it into the seam. And so like this, so we make the last slip stitch. And then again we need to make a transition, or maybe I'll make one more. Yeah, by the way, I can make one more. And then we need to make one more chain, turn our work, and go to this side, and here we start working again single crochet. So we have to work around it, around the corner, and then make 2 single crochets into one stripe, 1 single crochet between them. You see? Check how it looks, make sure that it looks okay, and go on working till the marker and then till the end of this row, according to the same principle as you did on the other side. So here is everything is the same, and here likewise you'll finish the corner as we have done before, but this I'll show you. So I have almost finished my trimming, and now let's work it together. Here I pull the loop slightly longer, and here somewhere into the corner I'll make one more stitch, last one, and then make a longer loop, and we need to join it into the back half loop of this braid, as we did it here on this corner. And likewise now make a row of slip stitches till the end of this row into the back half loop of each stitch. So I have reached the last corner. Here is the last stitch. I'll make a slip stitch into it, then pull completely the free end and cut it. I'll leave a small free end that I'll be able to close the work. Here we skip one stitch and make a full slip stitch into the next one. Grab the working thread and then return. It is a false slip stitch, so you return it right into the stitch where you have started. For this, insert the hook like this, from this upwards, and you return this free end so that you create one more loop, which is like all the others. It's a false slip stitch. At once you can hide this free end somewhere behind the stitches. So have a look, make sure that your trimming is visually okay, and then you can hide this free end. But do not sew the end, you'll sew them when you have finished. Just before you start sewing the sides, the wooden sides, and we'll already proceed to this, I recommend you to hide the free ends so that you have just to sew them. So you hide them in the place where they're going to be, like I'm doing now, and then you'll just have to cut it and sew it with some thread and sewing needle. So actually, if you hide them, you can even leave it as it is. You don't have to sew it, but I just sew it to make sure that it will stay put. For example, this one is hidden so well that perhaps I don't even have to sew it. I can leave it just like this. I'll cut it, and then I'll see. Maybe I'll sew it as well. Just burn it carefully. Or you can even press it. I don't like to do this, but you can even burn it and press it. Like you burn it and you press it and it will stay glued. I do not do this, but there is such a method as well. So this piece is ready.